Hello there and welcome to the new tutorial my channel, and in this tutorial I will show you one new project or one new dashboard within the Tableau. Now this dashboard I am making in Tableau, but if you are using in any other tool like Click or anything else, then you can create over there as well. So what I am going to do today is tell you about this data set, which as you can see I'm looking at it, and this is the data of the Indian political party. One is the BJP and another one is the Congress, and it's about the donation that they have received in various years. So as you can see, it is starting from the 2001-2002 and going all the way up till 2018 and 19, showing the various total donation and number of donors and average donation that is being received. And we will going to just analyze this data and see how we can better put it. Also, we'll try to figure it out if some insights can be driven based on some of the changes that has happened in the recent political scenario, where the political party, which is the BJP or the Bharatiya Janata Party, has got the consecutive 2 times full victory or the victory with the full majority. And we will see whether from this data something interesting can be figured. So what I have done is, first of all, over here I have taken this information from here till 2003-2004. As you can see, the list of donors is something which is nothing but the total. So what I'll do is copy this, and from here I will just open up an Excel, and I will just add one column so that the first column I can give it to the party, and I will put it as the text over here. So we have got the information for the BJP, if I am not wrong, so yes, and then we can put the party. So what we are doing is data extraction right now, and once we just add this data extraction. However, this party information we can put it even in the Tableau itself by creating a calculated field, but I just want to make sure that I'm just combining both the data for us over here, because I just want to reduce any confusion at the start. However, there are multiple ways by which you can automate, either by taking it into a separate file or in a one single file like I am doing it, and then we can produce the output. So right now what I'm doing is taking it for Congress, about their donation and the number of donors and average donation. So if I go and just paste it as the text, so the main difference if you look at the data is, first thing is BJP data is stopping here at 2003 and 2004, whereas Congress data is going up until here 2001-2002 and showing you the information about the donor. One other interesting thing which is quite apparent is by just looking at the data in 2001 and 2002, we are seeing just only 10,000 is the donation, and in case of BJP it is not present. So something which probably speaks, if we do a little bit of research, that whether it become legalized to show the donations which is coming in or which are coming in into their party, and then showing it to the mass public about what donation they are receiving. So that's one observation. Another observation is the data is starting here at from 2003 and 2004, and in case of Congress it is starting from 2001-2002. So in this case we may keep it or leave it for our analysis. So what I'm doing, I'm just keeping it. Now a couple of other things which you will see. One is the financial year information. Tableau does not really recognize this. You need to provide the 2018, 2017 figure like that. That means either proper date or a proper year information. And in these 2 columns, which is total donation and average donation, if you see, there is this rupees and 742 crore, 437 crore, some additional information apart from these 2 numbers which is present over here. So what we will do is we will just going to provide a clean data because of some limitations of the Tableau to clean the number. However, we can use the Tableau prep, but for now I'll just use the data over here, which has a very amazing capability to clean the data. So what I'll do is, first I'll take the financial year, and within the data I will have something called as text to columns. And text to columns, if I use it is separated by this. next, finish. So this saying data already, do you want to replace it? So you put cancel. So what I'll do is I will just create one column over here, and again I will just put this through the same process. Next, finish. And now we have this information, but we don't need this one. So we have got this financial year information. Similarly, in case of the total donation, what I'll do is I will just create a couple of columns over here. Select this, go to data, and over here we will again go to text to columns and put let's try with the fixed width, and next. So it is not able to identify the fixed width. So what I'll do is I'll say delimited, and instead of that we will say space. So as we say space, you see that all this information is separated. So if I press next and finish, we don't need these two. So we'll just remove that. We don't need this, but we will change this to total donation. And then we have total donors, which is fine, but in case of average donation, again we have an issue. So we will go to data and text to columns, and this time it looks like it is a fixed width. So we will say next, next, and finish. So now if we just remove this and remove this, what we get is the average donation, AVE, average donation. And down there, if you see, we have got a small issue where we have one. So just making sure that data is proper. Now once we have this, we will save this, and now let's go into the Tableau and import this data. Alright, so here we are within the Tableau, and click on connected data, and on the Microsoft Excel we will bring in the donations to file, and this file is going to take some time to import it. As you can see, it is loading the data. Usually it should not take this much time, but probably some issue that may be encountering. Alright, so here we have got the data. It was creating some issue, so I had to again just get the file. And now we have this sheet 1 over here where we have the party information. Couple of things we will going to take care. One is the financial year. So right now it is denoted as number. As you can see, hash is present. So we will click here and change this to date. And by default, it will going to add 1st of January to each of the date to convert into a proper date. In case of donation, you can see that it is into text. So we will change it to a number whole. And similarly, this number of donors is whole number. So fine. In case of average donation, again, we will change this to number whole. Now, once we have this information, everything is good. Now let's come back here, and one last thing which may probably want to do is we have average donation and total donation as the discrete. So what we will do is we will convert to measure, and same is the case with the total donation. We will convert it into a measure. So now we have this. A couple of visualization we may start with. So for example, we can evaluate the number of donors in both the cases by financial year. So maybe first let's say start with the financial year and the total donation, and let's try to see the trend over here. So once we click it over here, what we see is just a one trend over here, and the way we can get a better insight is by having the party over here on the color. So once we have this, we have an amazing visualization again in the form of a trend, but the output is quite amazing, because if you clearly see, Congress over here is getting only which is like almost 1.4 billion compared to 4.3 billion what BJP has got. Similarly over here in case of a Congress from 2014, where BJP came in with the major victory, similarly in 2018, but considering 2018 and 19 financial year based on the data, this is the year in where the election happened. Clearly there is a huge difference where BJP has got somewhere around 7.4 billion as part of a donation, and if you see continuously from 2010 over here up until like 2010, they were receiving the donations together, like with the same intensity or with the same number of amount. But after 2010, in 2011, 12, 13 and 14, and then in 2015 it reduced dramatically because most of the action happened here, and that's where you see BJP got the majority. That happened probably after 30 years, if I'm not wrong, if I have heard the political commentary correctly. After 30 years that situation happened, that Indian Parliament got the government with the majority, and previous to that so many governments came in, but all were the coalition government. So this is something which is quite amazing. Another visualization that we can make is probably with the average donation. Another way of looking at it by same chart, maybe this trend chart, and add the party information over here. So when it comes to average donation, there is a trend again. In case of the Congress, that means less number of people but donating high, and there more number of people but maybe donating the amount. That's what some conclusion we can get. But over here again we see there is a huge difference in the 2016, and I guess in the 2016 again there was some state election that happened, and because of that there may be some more donation which parties are receiving. Apart from this, what we have is the number of donors. So if we again take the financial year by the number of donors and get the line chart, and over here we bring the party information over here. Clearly you can see that from 2010 the number of donors have significantly increased for the BJP, which telling quite a story that they have more trust, or they are being probably more inclined towards what their vision and mission is. And then over here in 2014, though it is reduced, but we saw that the number with which they donated was huge. Similarly, in case of here in 2018-19, when the next election, general election happened, huge number of people donated as compared to the Congress. So data basically reveals this, that because of probably high donation can be one of the factor which has contributed into a smooth victory for the party like BJP, and they came in the power, and now having the or ruling the country over here. So this is another visualization. Maybe another way to visualize is probably by just quickly look at maybe by the group bar chart. Another way of comparing year by year, which is in a much better category wise comparison. So if I click over here and change this to column, so what we get is something like this. This visualization, and what we can bring in is the party over here. So now since the party is something like which is one above the another, does not give a lot of information. So what we will do is bring the party over here, and clearly it shows you over multiple years how the two parties are getting the donation. So clearly Congress trend is pretty much the same over the years, but BJP has gained the momentum significantly. Similarly, you can experiment with bringing the party over here, and then this basically a chart which you can produce clearly indicating that in case of Congress it's quite less, but in case of BJP it is quite high. And another important to note is that they both have the same axis. Now let me show you one visualization which attracted me a lot, and while creating it is again related to the chart, but what we have is a financial year, party, and the total donation. And what we have is in the show me, what do we do is produce the area chart over here. Now this area chart, if you see, shows quite interestingly, and if we just change the color just to reflect that generally BJP's color is this one, and for Congress we can take anything over here like the green over here, which looks now much more relevant to the party color that they generally follow. And over here we will just hide this. Now we will just produce a proper visualization which will give us a lot of insight into it. So what do we do is produce. First thing, we have produced this information. Second thing is adding the details over here. So let's say, for example, what we want is add a line over here to indicate what happened here and indicate what happened here. So for that, we will come into the analytics pane, and in the reference line we will have the year and we will add it to the pane. So over here we have year, financial year, and we have minimum. So what we can do is we can have something as constant, and over here we will change from 2000 this to 2014 over here, and for this we will show custom, and custom is 2014 general election. So as you can see, 2014 general election is coming now. Slightly professional information or input is coming. We can make it little bit like this so that it attracts the user attention, and up to us what we want. We can make it dark black as well and click OK. Now let's say, for example, if we want this particular title to show up front, so what we can do is right click on format, and over here what do we have is line, fill above, fill below, and alignment is something where we can click over here on the vertical alignment. Now it has come over here, but I will make it left aligned, so this way it will be here in the 2014 general election. We can even format this if we click it over here, and let's say we make it Tableau bold, just so that people have the information or attraction over here in the 2014 general election. Similarly, next thing what we will do is add a reference line again to the year, and this time again we will have constant in the 2019. So not 2019, 2018 in this case. So nothing but it's a financial information, that's why we have taken 2018, but it was actually in the 2019. Then in the value we can have the custom. Alright, let me remove this custom, and what we can do is 2019 general election and click OK. So 2019 general election, again we will right click, format this, not the bar but the reference line. So select this and format, and over here we will have the alignment at the top, and 2019 general election we will have the Tableau bold, and the line what we want is this one. So now this clearly indicates that what really happened over here. Even in this case 2019, that was the time which when the general election happened. So even we can add the line over here, similarly the line over here. So wherever we see the major shift or the major difference, that's where the general election happened. So once we have this, another thing that we can do is we can prepare a small summary just so that in the front end dashboard we can put it. So what do we have is over here total donation, maybe in the columns we can have, and party we can have it over here. What do we have is basically year information, so financial year maybe over here, but I want to show it in a table, and I only want to show, let's say for example, 2 different years. So I have years next, and I want to show 2014 and 2018. Click apply. So up to us how much we want to show this information, and then we will just format this so that it looks better in the dashboard. So what do we want is in the number, and we have currency, and display unit is in billions, so that it is clearly indicated as to how much they got. I will just hide this. So this again we have year of financial year. We will just remove that, hide it, and we will expand it a little bit, and so that it will look fine. when we will put it in the dashboard. So this will clearly show that how much they have got in the actual numbers. Suppose if user does not want to go over there. And then we can have something like, for example, in the financial year and the total donation, for example, and over here we, let's say, change this to a bar, right? So this way within the bar itself you can show, up to you whether you want to show it for the individual party. So this information we are just keeping it, we can add it in the dashboard itself. So 2000, so this three component is mainly, let's say we want to add it. Now we will start to create a dashboard. So once we create a dashboard, what do we want is basically vertical, and within the vertical, first thing we want is this chart over here in the sheet 5, and then this sheet 6 we will bring it as floating. So I will hold down my shift key and put it over here so that it will look like it is a part of the visualization which we have it over here. So I will just put it somewhere here. I don't need sheet 5 titles, I will hide it. I don't need this title, so right click, hide this. Total donation, within the added access, I don't need this total donation. Even if you want, you can remove this, right? So this, and financial year, if you don't need, again you go right click, added access, go there and remove this. And I will probably format these as well. So format this. I will have the font as this and bold, right? So that one would have something better indication. So this I will go again in the axis, and in the axis we will change it to black and bold. Yeah, now it is better. Similarly for this, I will again go here and bold, just to have little bold impression. Similarly, right click over here and format the chart, and within that in the rows I will remove the grid line. So now the grid line is removed. Now as you can see, the chart is coming along together nicely. So maybe what do we want next is some information as to what this chart is all about, and some textual information. So what do we do is, first I will just increase the width a little bit, so to have some space, and then I will press my shift key and bring the text information over here and say in the capital, donations received by 2 major political parties in India, and then we will have BJP and Congress. So we will have Congress highlighted with the green color over here, if I can find this, and this one I will highlight it with their color, which is this. And what we will do is make it Tableau bold and increase this to 26, and I will make this in the center and click OK. So now we have this. We will just put it in a right way and double click over here. What I'll do is I will just make it black, proper black, and make it like 20. Click OK. If we have, no, this will not look good, so we will have to just do some changes over here. Double click over here, and then we just make it, let's say 16. Click OK. Yeah, so it's better. All right, so now this looks okay, and then over here, up to us. I mean, if we want, let's say, the text completely over at the top like this, and put this information like donations RECEI received by 2 major political parties in India. Like I want to give, let's say for example, the proper title to this, BJP and Congress, and we will just make it, let's say 24. We will make this dark black and Tableau bold. We will make this color as the orangish, and this one is green, and for this also we will make it bold and center and click OK. So what do I mean by that is now you have it at the top and you don't need this. So again, little bit of high text. Alright, so that's what I wanted to basically mention, that if you want, like at the top, you can just bring it directly without holding the shift key. So once you double click and even you make this as a center and click OK, so now it becomes a little intuitive what is BJP and what is Congress, what is their total fund over here, and then we can add some more text which I have written. And for that I will bring the text in a floating mode, so holding down the shift key I will bring the text over here, paste it. So what it says is basically, in a historic 2014 election when BJP received almost 3 times more donation than the Congress party, which was in the power until 2014. Again in 2019 BJP had the historic win with the full majority, with this time donation difference was huge, which was like almost 6 times as compared to the Congress. So if I click OK and increase this, bring it down and bring this up, so what do we have is our table to support this claim and the visualization which indicates this, what really has happened. So this is what I finally wanted to show you as an outcome of the very simple data set to something which is very much like an article that you are writing, and then you can gain the insight as to some of the important contributing factors. Now this is something which I created. I think will be very helpful based on the various components, but you let me know what do you create, and what sort of visualization, what sort of insight that you can create, because there is no limit to what you can do with this data. So if you create something, please make sure that you are having the link inside into my tutorial, and and others in the community can learn from this. So that's about what I wanted to show you for this quick dashboard project. Within 30 minutes we have covered it, and we have created a professional looking, at least from my perspective, which is showing you a lot of information with some quick visual insight as to what is going on over here in the India from the 2 major parties perspective. So that's about it, and now I will meet you in the next video with a new topic.